Kolo Toure has won 3 league titles, 2 FA Cups and 1 Africa Cup of Nations. He has over 500 club appearances and 120 international caps to his name. Those bare facts alone make up a career that most would be utterly delighted with, but combined with a style of play that you might call enthusiastic, he was one of the most likeable Premier League players of the last 15 years. Born in 1981, Toure started his career at ASEC Mimosas in the Ivory Coast capital Abidjan. Toure is one of a long line of players to come from the club, such as Gervinho, Salomon Kalou and Boubacar Barry, and of course his brother, Yaya. In early 2002, he travelled to London for a trial with Arsenal, a trial that was a little bit more eventful than most. In journalist John Cross's book about Arsene Wenger's tenure at the club, Ray Parlour tells a story about how Toure began charging around the training ground. I remember the ball was rolled into Thierry Henry, and Kolo Toure, from nowhere, smashed into him from behind, said Parlour. It was a terrible tackle, a red card in a normal game, and our best player was rolling around. Wenger was shouting, "Kolo, what are you doing? Don't tackle." The next minute, the ball was into Dennis Bergkamp, and Kolo did exactly the same thing. Wenger said, "No more tackling." Next thing you know, Kolo Toure took out Wenger with a 2-footed tackle. All you could hear was Wenger screaming. Parlour went into the physio's room where Wenger had an ice pack on his injured ankle to make the case for the young player and reassure Wenger that Toure was probably just being over-enthusiastic. But he needn't have worried. "We're signing him tomorrow," said Wenger. "I like his desire." Toure made his debut in the 2002 Community Shield and initially performed a utility role, but it wasn't until the following season that he really made an impact at the club. With only Martin Keown, who was 37, and Pascal Saigun, who was Pascal Saigun, as alternative partners for Sol Campbell, Toure was moved to the centre of defence, and it was there that he stayed for the season. He played in 37 games of that unbeaten season, as Arsenal became the first team in over 100 years to achieve that feat in the English top flight. Kolo is genuine, honest, highly motivated, good at work every day, Wenger said of his player. The problem was to get him off the pitch, it wasn't to get him on. Toure established himself as one of the better defenders in the Premier League over the next few seasons, eventually being named Arsenal vice-captain. He scored the goal that eventually sent Arsenal to the Champions League final in 2006, which they lost 2-1 to Barcelona. By 2009, his form had been up and down, and after a training ground argument with William Gallas, he asked to leave Arsenal. "One of us had to leave, and it was me," said Toure later. He moved to Manchester City for a fee of £16 million, joining Emmanuel Adebayor in moving north. It was around this time that Toure also appeared on the front pages of newspapers after reportedly having an affair with a young model, during which he told her he was a car salesman from Ghana called Francois. It was only after a friend of the woman recognised him, and she took a photo of him peering out from behind a shower curtain, that his ruse was uncovered. On the pitch, Toure was appointed City captain by manager Mark Hughes and was a key part of their team as they established themselves as a challenger for the Champions League places. Yet when Hughes left and Roberto Mancini took over, Toure became more marginalised. After a game against Manchester United in 2011, when Toure was an unused substitute, he was called for a random drug test. He failed it, blaming the result on some diet pills given to him by his wife. He was banned for 6 months, which stretched into the following season, and was at least part of the reason why he was only a bit-part player in the team that so dramatically won the league title. When Sergio Aguero scored that 94th minute goal against QPR and everyone around him was losing their minds in celebration, Toure could be seen shuffling around on the touchline with his hands in his jacket pockets, a look of quiet satisfaction on his face. He remained a squad player in the following season before moving to Liverpool on a free transfer. There, he became something of a cult hero, not a first-team regular, but popular nonetheless. In March 2015, he came on as a substitute against Manchester City, making it the first time ever he'd faced his brother Yaya in a competitive game. Then, in 2016, he made what would be the last move of his career, spending a season at Celtic as they went unbeaten in the Scottish Premiership, the second such season of his career. He announced his retirement this summer and joined Celtic as a coach. Even when he was a baby, he knew there was something different about him, said his brother Yaya. Different, enthusiastic, eccentric. Maybe he was all of those things, which is part of what made him one of the most endearing players of the era.